Hey everyone, welcome to A Cocktail of Yarn. If you're new to my channel, I'm here every week with tips, tricks and tutorials to make you a knitting pro. I also want you to love your new hobby, so let's get into today's video. This video is part of my beginner series, so if you want to learn the basics or need a bit of a refresher, this is the perfect place to be. Today I'm going to go through the knit stitch. The knit stitch is one of the first stitches many knitters learn before they progress into the purl stitch. I'm using a chunky ball of yarn. This is perfect for beginners who are just starting out as it's much easier to work with. I'm also using bamboo needles as metal needles can be a little trickier to work with. This is because your stitches may slip off. You can use whatever you're comfortable with, but these are just some recommendations in case you need them. Right, on to the knit stitch. To start off, I'm using the continental cast on method to cast on 12 stitches. If you don't know how to cast on, I have a video which shows you 2 different methods so you can be a pro at casting on. YouTube has now introduced a new feature called cards where I can add previous videos. You can find my cast on tutorial at the top of this video. Once you've completed your cast on, place your needle behind the stitch like so. As you can see here, I create a bit of tension with my yarn by wrapping it around my index finger. Now, going back to the knit stitch, you're going to start bringing the needle you placed behind out of the stitch and you'll notice a loop forming. Once you see that loop, you can drop the stitch on the left side and keep the one on the right needle. Secure the stitch so it doesn't fall off your needle. And that's it. That is your first knit stitch complete. Now what you're going to do is repeat the steps until you reach the end of the row. Whilst I'm doing this, you may notice my index finger holding the stitches in place in my right hand. This is to make sure none of my stitches slip off the needle, and it also helps me control my yarn tension. Let's go through the steps again. So, to start off, bring your needle behind the stitch, wrap your yarn around the back needle, pull your right needle back out and push it into the new stitch. Place the stitch on the right needle and drop the stitch on your left needle. And once again, bring your needle behind the stitch, wrap your yarn around the back needle, pull your right needle back out and push it into the new stitch, place the stitch on the right needle and drop the stitch on your left needle. Let's go through the steps again. So, to start off, bring your needle behind the stitch on the left, wrap your yarn around the back needle, pull your right needle back out and push it into the new stitch. Place the stitch on the right needle and drop the stitch on your left needle. And there you have it. You've completed the knit stitch. I hope you found this video helpful. For those of you who did, please like, comment and subscribe so I know this is the type of content you're looking for. As always, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you weave your knitting narrative. See you next week. Bye for now.